Good morning, everyone. Good evening and good day to all of you. And we welcome you to our very first esoteric healing webinar for this particular series. Folks, what I would like us to do is to introduce ourselves so that we can know a little bit about ourselves before we start, and also so that we've got a very good sense of the group. So why don't we start then with thank you everyone for sharing. I'm so pleased to hear that all of you are not unfamiliar with the Ageless Wisdom. So that just makes our work a lot easier. And it will also be easy or easier for the group to integrate and fuse. So that's wonderful. Okay, so before we start, let us do a very short visualization, shall we? Let us link up as a group. Think of all of us, the 23 of us, in a circle. Now raise your consciousness as high in the head as you possibly can. Then endeavor to hold steady, holding your mind unwaveringly in the group light. Then realize that DK on his side, he's also standing steady, pouring out upon us his love and strength, endeavoring to lift us up into a higher state of consciousness. Now visualize ahead of us a disk or a sphere of indigo blue, a deep indigo blue, the color of love and wisdom. Then imagine DK standing right in the center of that disk, waiting. And I see a band of golden light between us and the disk, gradually shortening, thus bringing us together, closer together, slowly and steadily, until we enter into the heart of the blue disk. Into the consciousness of the Master. Let us sound a blue Om. I know and I can see from your sharing that you all know about the Moria Federation, so whatever I will say to you is no surprise. So we are an international, internet-based esoteric school, only supported by donations. We are run by a team of volunteers, and we are all versed in the Ageless Wisdom teachings. We offer a comprehensive program of meditation, study, and service to suit students at various levels of expertise and, of course, of their availability of time. We are almost entirely based on the teachings of the Ageless Wisdom, even though sometimes we will bring in some quotes from other sources. But our goal is to help create soul-illumined servers of humanity. Notice the operative word here, servers of humanity. We are servers inspired by love, spiritual will, and spiritual intelligence. And the founder of that Moria Federation, as you all know, is Michael Robbins in 2008. He is the president of the Seven Ray Institute and the University of the Seven Rays since 1987. He is a long-standing and brilliant and very knowledgeable teacher of the ageless wisdom through the study of esoteric psychology, astrology, the science of the seven rays, and esoteric cosmology. He is an author of several books, The Tapestry of the Gods, which is an in-depth treatise on the seven rays, and I would really recommend this book if you are looking at understanding the seven rays at all. He also wrote a very philosophical treatise on the infinitization of selfhood, if you are interested in philosophy, and another one on the monad, as well as being the creator of the Tarot test and the latest one, the PIP, designed to help people determine their ray charts and its relationship to their astrological chart. And he is, as you all know, he is a facilitator of many, many webinars, and the list is too long here to enumerate it all. But you can go on the website makara.us to have a list of Michael's brilliant teachings. As for me, I have been a student of the Ageless Wisdom since 1985. I belong to the INEH, but no more. And I taught EH in several countries, America, Bolivia, Sucre, Cochabamba, Brazil, Salvador, Belo Horizonte, Denmark, and Finland. I have been, or I am, the course head and the creator of the esoteric curriculum at the Moria Federation. I'm also a facilitator of the EH webinars at MF. As for Jo, she's also a long-standing student of the Ageless Wisdom since the early 90s. She has worked and managed many groups in various capacities throughout her career and wore many hats from group member to managing director. Her whole life has been devoted to service, to hierarchy, and all her career choices has been guided to that end. She has been a member of the Moria Federation since its inauguration in 1928, but she has been with Michael for many, many years before that. She is a co-founder of our Esoteric Healing Moria Federation webinars since 2014. We have a group running once a month since 2014, and Jo has been the technology expert behind it all. Without her Ray 3 and her Ray 7, well, these webinars would not happen. So thank you very much, Jo, for your expertise. Now, as for the activities of the Esoteric Healing faculty at MF, we have a healing practice and advanced teaching webinars every second Sunday of the month to two groups, one a European group and one the American group. Then we have another healing practice and teaching to the Spanish group every second Sunday of the month as well. Then we have a healing practice and teaching to the Vietnamese group every second Wednesday of the month. And we also have a teaching webinar to a Brazilian group and we are currently developing the curriculum for them at the moment. Then we have the introduction to new groups, which is happening now every first and third Tuesday of the month until the end of this November. And then you as a group will decide whether you want to carry on and further your study and deepen your understanding of esoteric healing. Then we have the healing garden visualization for group approach. And this happens every month at every full moon. And the idea of the garden visualization is to meet DK as a group 12 hours prior every full moon. And these are available on YouTube, but the times are obviously at different times of the day, depending on the 12 hours prior of the full moon and when Joe and I, we can get together with other people because of the time of the full moon. Then at the June full moon, at the Festival of the Christ, we have a healing service. And lastly, we have every Christmas, we have a Christmas healing service for everyone as a closing for the year. The Ageless Wisdom, since so many of you have been involved, so again, this introduction is no surprise, and it's very, very sketchy compared to what you would have gleaned. But our principal source of spiritual teaching is the comprehensive writings dictated by the Master DK to Alice Bailey via mental telepathy between 1919 and 1949. And together they wrote 24 books covering many aspects of the science of the seven rays, the esoteric astrology, esoteric healing, esoteric philosophy, psychology, and ageless wisdom cosmology. It is a profound and multi-leveled, timeless synthesis of Eastern and Western traditions. And who is Master DK? He is called the messenger of the masters. He is part of the second ray ashram, and at the head of that ashram is the Chohan Master KH. So DK is the healing master in hierarchy. He works with all those who heal altruistically. He plans to restore through his students the old and occult method of teachings. And the protocol that we use and follow very, very closely is from his book, Esoteric Healing, from page 103 to 105. And the radiatory technique that we will be using primarily is DK's adaptation of the second ray method of love and wisdom, arranged for beginners. Now, according to DK, true healing is still in its infancy, in spite of the multitude of approaches and techniques and methods of alleviating suffering during thousands and thousands of years, and in spite of the advances of modern medicine. And as we go through our study, you will understand why DK makes this statement that true healing is still in its infancy. And it is only in this age and generation that hierarchy has deemed safe and opportune to impart the laws and rules of esoteric healing and to indicate the causes of those diseases originating in the three inner bodies and diseases which today devastate the human frame, causing endless suffering and pain. And why now? Because it's only today that man is at the point of its evolution of his consciousness where he can begin to realize the power of the subjective worlds. And therefore, man is now ready for this type of knowledge. So DK therefore asks us to be patient because we have much to do together. And the work of esoteric healing will work out sequentially and not simultaneously into 3 categories, but I will only mention the first one. Because here at the very beginning, we are being trained in the principles of the healing art. Because now we are laying the foundation for later expansion in the new age. And as you know, when hierarchy makes plans, he never makes plans for the next couple of years. Hierarchy makes plans a century or 2 ahead. So when DK says for later, he means later, not in the next couple of years, right? In the next 50 or 100 years. So we are most likely going to come together in our next incarnations to continue the work together. This time we will be a lot more trained and a lot more fused as a group, and therefore our work will be a lot more effective. But for now, we have to study the treatise, Esoteric Healing, which will only later enter into its true usefulness and mission. So this we have to really keep that in mind, that we are being trained in the art of esoteric healing. So therefore, what DK has to say about the future healing of disease will not be of any practical value for a long time to come. But the theory and the indications of possibility must be considered, discussed, and studied, and above all, understood. So DK's work and teachings are of a pioneering nature, because a much higher measure of spiritual perception and of mental understanding is required before the esoteric healing that DK proposes becomes effective. So please, we need to keep that in mind. So therefore, DK is not going to deal with the anatomy of the body, even though we will go into some form of understanding of the anatomy of the body. He will not discuss the symptoms of diseases, again, quite incidentally. So he does not intend to elaborate on the symptoms or consider the many diseases with the long names that sometimes we don't even understand what they are, because he deals with the subjective aspect of men and with the secondary causes which have their roots in our inner bodies, that is, the etheric, the astral, and the mental bodies, and therefore in the subjective side of nature itself. So we will also note that DK is not going to give rules and laws which deals with specific diseases. And DK is very frank about it. This, I fear, he says, will greatly disappoint many earnest workers. They would like me to indicate what should be done, for instance, to cure cancer of the liver or pneumonia or gastric ulcer or forms of heart diseases. This I do not intend to do, he keeps repeating to us. His work is far, far more basic than that. He is concerned with causes and primarily with the etheric body as the distributor of energies, that is, of soul energies, or as a withholder of these energies due to congestion or whatever other blockage that body has. So DK deals with a state of consciousness of the healer, with the theories which he should embrace, with his understanding of the relationship of the soul to its vehicles of expression, that is astral, mental, and etheric, and particularly in the case of healing to the etheric body. And also, of course, and with the chakras found in the bodies, which either distribute soul energy freely and therefore preserves the body in good health, or acts as a blockage. You will also notice that DK's text will be left intact throughout this course. And there is a very good reason for it, because DK says himself that his words, not particularly, or from any member of hierarchy, and what I mean is DK in particular, because we have his words and it's his works that we are learning, have a potency which cannot be arrested, and therefore the tendency to adapt such writings to what you or others conceive to be the capacity of the public mind detracts from the magnetism inherent in these words, in the unalterated articles. So DK's words will be left intact for your study. So therefore, what I would suggest is that when we read DK, let his words wash over your mental field like rain over parched land. Let their potency quench your thirst for knowledge and understanding. And let their magnetism draw out your intuition and touch the waters of life and the Master's consciousness, very much like rain does to the seeds. And so let your intuition germinate. So therefore, the advice that DK gives us before embarking the study of EH is that you must let go of what your lower mind cherishes and wants to hold on to. Be entirely open-minded and ready to accept new theories and hypotheses, because then you will discover that the old and dearly held truth is not really lost, but only relegated to its rightful place in the larger scheme. So what is esoteric healing etymologically? DK aptly coined the type of healing that he presented, esoteric. The word esoteric, and Anna Veronica can attest to that, the word esoteric originates from the Greek esoterikos, from the Greek word, ezo, the root word, meaning within. And heal stands from the Germanic helas, meaning whole. So therefore, from an etymological point of view, the expression points to the idea of being whole within, or therefore the healing coming from within, not from outside. So what is esoteric healing according to the ageless wisdom? It is the art of releasing the soul. It is the art of releasing the soul so that its life may flow through unimpeded, because the soul is the true healer. Here we don't just mean us, the soul of the healer. We mean the soul of the patient. So when the life of the soul can flow through without any impediment or hindrance throughout every aspect of the form nature, it can then vitalize it with its potency. It can also eliminate those congestions and obstructions that are a fruitful source of disease. There are many types of diseases. We will go through only a few of them because there are so many that I can't mention all of them here. The most important one today is modern medicine. And DK tells us that the disease, the symptoms and treatments of the physical body are well known and understood as medicine has advanced by leaps and bounds, and that humanity cannot do without its doctors, its surgeons, its hospitals. They are urgently needed and will be for centuries to come. Other types of healing: chiropractic, herbalism, nutritional therapy, massage therapy, Reiki, acupuncture, EFT, Bowen, homeopathy, reflexology, you name it, and there are so many. Other types of healing too is healing with prana, and the average healer is a transmitter of prana, which is the energy of the planet. And the energy of the planet combines with the etheric energies of the patient, passing through the healer's body. And this combination of the healers and the energy of the planet, the prana, stimulates the patient sufficiently so that he is enabled, therefore, to throw off the enfeebling disease. And physical healing by prana is very common, but it is only temporarily effective because it concerns and deals only with effects. It never touches the cause. Therefore, the disease can be abated, yes, but not cured. Then there's astral healing, which is very rare and very seldom successful due to the polarization of humanity at this time, and therefore its lack of correct emotional poise and control. Then there's mental healing. The power to heal mentally is on the increase and produces relatively permanent effects. Mental healers, true mental healers, are rare indeed, according to DK, blend soul energy with the two above, that is pranic and astral. And this produces a synthesis of the personality forces, such as music therapy, cognitive therapy, hypnotherapy, and I'm sure Tia too will be able to tell us all about that, and Jerry as well. But soul healing supersedes the three above methods, that is the pranic, astral, and mental, because it produces the pouring of pure soul energy into and through the bodies of the patient. And this is the highest form of healing. It's psychological healing. And here, DK refers to psychology as the study of the psyche. Again, another Greek etymological root. Psyche meaning the soul, and therefore psychological here is in the sense of soul or psyche. So the word psychological comes from the modern Latin psychologia, from the Greek psyche meaning breath, spirit, soul, and logia meaning study of. So therefore psychology is the study of the soul. Well, today's psychology is a far cry for that, but at least it's the first step in the right direction. But there are different types of healers, though. The healing need not necessarily be physical in its objective. And this, I want you to really take note of this very basic teaching of healing. The healing need not necessarily be physical in its objective. But some people heal those that are afflicted with physical ills. Some work in the field of psychology and deal with those troubles which have a more mental basis, but others can also aid in the stabilizing of the astral bodies of those that are distraught. Because all initiates of the ageless wisdom are necessarily healers, though not all may heal the physical, because again, depending on the ray of the healer. Now, the initiates of the ageless wisdom are necessarily healers because they have achieved some degree of soul liberation and therefore are transmitters of spiritual energy affecting some vehicle, whether it's astral, etheric, or mental, of those that they contact or the patient. Soul healing produces the pouring into and through the mechanism of the patient of pure soul energy. It was in this way that Christ worked, and there are few today who work this way. This must be held before you as an objective, and this is what we are all about. This is our objective, is to heal from the soul point of view, acting as if we were the soul. So what is disease then, according to the ageless wisdom? It is the result of a blockage in the flow of soul energy to a vehicle or a body. It is a bit like a heart attack, if we can use this analogy. When the flow of blood is arrested or blocked, the result is pain, congestion, disease, and sometimes death. So too, when the life force of the soul is blocked or congested, disease occurs and leading to death in some cases. And we are told that in these two bodies, the etheric and the astral, these two bodies, 90% of the causes of physical diseases and troubles is to be found. That's where the congestion is. Now, let me have a quick look. Yes, if you don't mind, we'll carry on to slide number 49, and then we'll continue in a fortnight. So we'll just finish off this idea, okay? If you don't mind. So the key idea in esoteric healing is that it is concerned with diseases arising in wrong internal conditions, not outside. So esoteric healing is concerned with wrong internal conditions which block the energies of the soul, is concerned with restoring the disharmony or the lack of alignment which exists within his vehicles, therefore making the person whole again, releasing the soul so that its energy can flow through freely his vehicles without any impediment. So it is not concerned with accidents due to personal negligence, carelessness, results of fighting, attacks from the animal world, or accidental poisonings. It is not concerned with infectious, contagious diseases, epidemics coming from the environment. Now, particularly, this comment here from DK is very relevant to us because of the COVID at the moment. So esoteric healing is not concerned with these contagious diseases. Contagious diseases that comes to a man from outside, not as a result of his own peculiar blood condition. So such infections are the various so-called infectious and contagious diseases and prevalent epidemics, i.e. now the COVID pandemic. These may come to a man in the line of duty through his daily contacts or through a widespread condition of disease in his environment. Again, esoteric healing is eliminating the blockage from within. That's why DK makes this comment. It is not concerned with diseases due to malnutrition, predisposing the physical body to disease and therefore lowering its resistance and therefore its vitality. It is not concerned with forms of hereditary weaknesses either. So these four types of disease account for a lot of what we see around us in people's lives, but they are not classed under any of the psychological causes of disease. So next time, folks, we will start here with Christ and healing. So I know I've gone beyond the hour, but is there anything that you would like to share, or you would like to, any comment that you would like to make?
And just to let you all know, I'm going to stop the recording at this point, and we meet on 20th July, and we'll continue with this set of slides, which you all have received. Let me know if you have any difficulty in bringing those down to your computer or viewing them.